It's 6 a.m. in Rome. The streets are silent. The city, an empire at its peak, still sleeps under the weight of the night. But inside the palace walls, the emperor is already awake, the most powerful man in the world, a man who commands armies, decides the fate of nations, and carries the burden of Rome on his shoulders. And yet, his morning looks nothing like you'd expect. Marcus Aurelius doesn't call for servants. He doesn't plan a feast. He doesn't sit on a throne. Instead, he does something ordinary, something deeply human. He sits up in his bed. He exhales slowly, and before the noise of the empire reaches him, he turns inward. Not to dictate laws, not to write orders, but to write to himself, his journal, his meditations. Private words never meant for the world to see, and it's here in these fragile pages that we discover something shocking, something that makes Marcus less of a marble statue and more of a man like us. Marcus, Emperor of Rome, struggled to get out of bed. Yes, even the ruler of the known world battled the same war we fight every morning, the temptation to stay in comfort, the urge to hide under the blanket, the thought, why bother getting up? The difference? Marcus didn't surrender. He answered that question, and his answer became the foundation of a morning routine so powerful, it still works today. The battle of the bed, Marcus writes in his meditations, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. Why am I complaining if I'm going to do what I was born for? Pause for a second. Let that sink in. This is not just a motivational quote carved into marble. This is a confession. An emperor, the ruler of the Roman Empire, admits that even he wanted to stay in bed. Think about it. A man with armies at his command, a man who could have ordered the world to wait. And yet, he faced the same enemy you do every single morning. The weight of the blanket, the warmth of the sheets, the whisper of just 5 more minutes. We often think discipline belonged to the strong, the gifted, the untouchable. But Marcus shows us discipline begins with the ordinary, with winning the smallest war. This is the first rule of Marcus Aurelius' morning routine. Win the first battle, the battle against comfort. And here's the truth. If you lose this battle, you've already surrendered, because how you wake up shapes how you live the rest of the day. When you wake tomorrow, you will feel it. That invisible hand pulling you back under the sheets. That voice inside whispering, stay, rest, there's time. But remember Marcus. Remember the emperor who refused to be ruled by his own comfort. Say to yourself, I was not born to lie still. I was not born to hide from the day. I was born to rise, to serve, to live as a human being. This is more than motivation. This is a reset button, a Stoic alarm clock. Because every morning offers you 2 lives, one where you choose comfort and one where you choose purpose. Which one will you live tomorrow? Step 1. Wake with purpose. Modern mornings are designed to distract us. The alarm buzzes, and before your feet touch the floor, the world invades. Notifications flash, news headlines scream, emails pile up, social media scrolls begin before the mind has even woken. We call this normal, but Marcus Aurelius would call it slavery, because the first moments of your day are not neutral. They are decisive. They are the steering wheel for everything that follows. Marcus didn't wake up to chase comfort. He didn't wake up to chase pleasure. He woke up to chase duty. He reminded himself, you are a human being. You were born to act, not to waste away in sleep. You were born to serve, not to scroll. You were born for purpose, not for distraction. And here's the thing, you don't need to be an emperor to do the same. You don't need legions of soldiers or a palace or even perfect discipline. You need only a decision. So tomorrow, when you wake, don't let the world be the first to claim your mind. Don't let the phone be your master. Don't let chaos write the script of your day before you've written your own. Instead, pause, breathe. Feel the air filling your lungs and whisper to yourself, today I rise not for comfort, but for purpose. This is not just step one of Marcus Aurelius' morning routine, it is the foundation. Because if you win the first 5 minutes, you win the next 15 hours. Step 2, prepare for people. Marcus writes something brutally honest in Meditations. Today you will meet people who are selfish, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and rude. But remember, they are like this because they don't know good from evil. Think about that for a second. Most of us wake up hoping for a good day. We want kindness, patience, and respect from the world. And when we don't get it, we explode. We say, how could they act like that? Why would they treat me this way? Marcus knew better. He knew the world is not a stage built for your comfort. He knew difficult people are not the exception. They are the rule. So before stepping into the world, he armored his mind, not with anger, not with bitterness, not with cynicism, but with acceptance. He reminded himself, today, resistance is coming. Today, selfishness is coming. Today, frustration is waiting for me. And by expecting it, he was no longer surprised. This is step 2 of his morning routine. Expect resistance. Expect challenge. Expect people to disappoint you and decide in advance not to be shaken. Imagine living this way. You walk into your office and the rude coworker interrupts you. You open your laptop and the passive-aggressive email is waiting. You sit in traffic and the reckless driver cuts you off. Instead of reacting with shock or rage, you think, I knew this was coming. Marcus told me this would happen, and I am ready. That single mental shift saves you hours of stress because disappointment is not caused by people, it's caused by your expectations of people. If you expect perfection, you will always be frustrated. If you expect imperfection, you will always be prepared. Marcus didn't write these words to sound wise. He wrote them because he needed them. Even as emperor, he faced betrayal, arrogance, and jealousy every single day. And yet, he kept his peace because he chose his mindset before the battle began. You may not rule an empire, but tomorrow, when you face your own Roman Senate of co-workers, clients, bosses, or even family, remember, the world is full of difficult people, but their behavior cannot touch your inner peace unless you give them permission. Step 3, remember your duty. Marcus constantly reminded himself, you are not just flesh and blood. You are a part of humanity. You were born to serve the common good. Pause on that. This is not the voice of a man seeking comfort. This is the voice of a man reminding himself every single morning why he exists. He was emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive. He could have seen his throne as privilege. He could have lived for luxury, indulgence, and applause. But Marcus saw it differently. His crown was not a prize. It was a responsibility. And here's the part that should shake you. This mindset doesn't only belong in a palace. It belongs in your life too. Because no matter who you are, you rule an empire. It may not stretch across continents, but it stretches across your day, your work, your family, your friends, your studies, your responsibilities. This is your empire. And like Marcus, You were born to serve it. So when you wake tomorrow, ask yourself, what is my duty today? Who can I serve? How can I leave things better than I found them? This single shift from self-centered to service-centered transforms everything. Suddenly, work is no longer a burden. It becomes contribution. Family is no longer an obligation. It becomes legacy. Even small tasks, answering emails, cooking a meal, helping a friend, gain weight and meaning. And strangely, life becomes lighter. Because the heaviest burden you carry is always me. My problems, my goals, my frustrations. But when you replace me with we, when you see yourself as a servant of the whole, not just a prisoner of your own wants, something incredible happens. Your stress shrinks, your strength grows, and every morning becomes less about what you take from life and more about what you give. That is Stoic Morning Step 3. Remember your duty, not as a slave, not as a victim, but as a human being fulfilling the role you were born for. Step 4, simplicity. Marcus Aurelius lived in palaces, marble walls, golden ceilings, servants waiting at his command. But if you read his private writings, you discover something strange. He rejected luxury. He wore simple clothes. He ate simple meals. He kept his mornings uncluttered, untouched by the chaos of excess. Why? Because Marcus knew the truth. Clutter is not comfort. Clutter is distraction. And distraction is the silent killer of purpose. Think about our mornings today. We wake up, and before our feet hit the floor, we are drowning in noise. A 20-minute scroll on TikTok. 5 different apps checked before breakfast. Emails answered before teeth are even brushed. We call this being productive. But Marcus would call this being enslaved. His mornings were the opposite. No excess, no rushing, no noise, just presence. And presence gave him clarity. Clarity gave him focus. And focus gave him power, not just over an empire, but over himself. So what does this look like for you? Step 4 is simple. Remove the noise. Return to simplicity. Instead of grabbing your phone, drink water. Instead of headlines, read a few lines of wisdom. Instead of rushing into 10 things, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Because simplicity is not emptiness. It is space, space for your mind to breathe. And when your mind breathes, it sharpens. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions with this principle. You only need to rule one life, yours. So tomorrow, ask yourself, what can I subtract? Not, what can I add? Not, what more do I need? The Stoic morning doesn't begin with more. It begins with less. Less clutter, less distraction, less noise. And in that less, you'll find more. More peace, more focus, more strength. Step 5, reflection. Marcus's secret weapon wasn't his throne. It wasn't his armies. It wasn't even his title as emperor. It was his journal. Every morning he wrote. Not for his advisors, not for his soldiers, not even for history. He wrote for himself. In those pages, he faced his own fears. He reminded himself of what truly mattered. He captured truths he didn't want to forget, truths he knew he would need when the day tested him. This was not Dear Diary. This was daily programming for his mind. It was armor built with ink. And this is the final step of the Stoic morning, reflection. Now, you don't need to write essays. You don't need to be a philosopher. You just need 3 lines. Line 1, a question. What is in my control today? Line 2, a reminder. Difficult people will not shake me. Line 3, a truth. Life is short. Today matters. That's it. 3 lines, 2 minutes. But the effect? Life-changing. Because when you write, you slow down. When you write, you clarify. When you write, You take back control from the storm in your head. Think about it. Marcus wrote these lines almost 2,000 years ago. He didn't know the world would ever read them. He didn't write for likes or followers. He wrote because he needed to remind himself every single day, stay humble, stay strong, stay present. And if the most powerful man in the world needed that reminder, then maybe you and I need it too. So tomorrow morning, grab a notebook, write your 3 lines. Doesn't matter if the handwriting is messy, doesn't matter if nobody else ever sees it. What matters is this. You're building your own meditations. You're building your own armor. You're building your own mind. The modern Marcus routine. Let's put this together into a routine you can do tomorrow morning. Wake with purpose. Don't snooze. Rise with intention. Prepare for people. Expect challenges. Accept them in advance. Remember duty. Focus on service, not selfishness. Keep it simple. Cut out noise and clutter. Reflect. Write. Breathe. Remind yourself of truth. This is not just history. This is not just philosophy. This is a manual, a 2,000-year-old morning routine that still works. The closing lesson, Marcus writes, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Your mornings are not accidents. They are opportunities. Each sunrise is a chance to begin again. Tomorrow morning, don't wake up like the old you. Wake up like Marcus. Win the first battle. Prepare for people. Remember your duty. Stay simple. Reflect and watch how your mornings transform your life. Final call. If this resonated with you, don't just nod and move on. Try it tomorrow. Then come back here and share your experience. Join us on this path. Subscribe to Lucid Stoic, because each day is a chance to rise higher, and it begins every morning. Sleep well tonight, Stoic. Tomorrow, you rise.